To Be Hero X Season 2, Episode 2, Moon. Probably gonna get a little bit more backstory and see what's going on with her. So let's talk about it. All right, so if you watched last episode, you see that Moon is okay from what she was last episode. Again, I don't know what that flash was or what those thoughts were. I think we'll get more information on that later, but it seemed like that was just something that kind of flashed in his head, maybe. But she is okay. She is actually up and exercising, and she does not want to be bothered by anybody because he was like, I need to talk to her. Maybe I should talk to her and see what's going on. Yeah, she's like, no, I want none of it. So come to find out that she was actually glad that the original Nice is gone for whatever reason. So I don't know what his deal was, what kind of guy he was, nothing. Like we know nothing about him, but we do know that she's happy he's gone and doesn't want to play this game anymore. Like she's like done with this. Like she wants out of the contract. She doesn't want to be here. Like finish it. Jay says, no, y'all should get married. Like, yes, we should have the proposal. You should get married, whatever the case may be. Because remember, she's got a business to run. She's trying to do stuff. And then she's got a boss too, because she has talked to her boss on the phone. So I don't know what level of management she's at, but she's primarily in charge of handling these two and whatever is involved with them too. And she's like, marriage is like the next step that y'all need to do for things to move on. So whole marriage proposal that they're going to set up, whatever. Moon's not having it. So with that, and she's like, we don't want to do it. And Jay's like, well, that's fine. Lock down the place. She puts the whole place on lockdown. So internet, everything's cut off. Like there is nothing to do. Like it's straight up lockdown on the building, on this particular room or whatever the case may be. Because I don't know exactly where they're at. Some kind of looks like a hero tower that like floats in the sky. That's where they're at. But I don't know if they own the whole thing or if it's just like a section or what. But either way, they're locked down. They can't do anything. So Moon is ripping off her wig and destroys the place after being put on lockdown. You see her hair's not as perfect as it is. It's, more or less, kind of frazzles under a wig. So it makes sense. I mean, I'm not mad at it, but like, this is the true her. And he's still looking at her like, wow, you're gorgeous. Like he doesn't care. He fell in love with Moon, of course, being his goddess for some time. So he's not worried about any of that. So he's trying to talk with her and they end up kind of having a moment for a bit. They kind of end up, after going back and forth and she don't want to deal with him. Eventually they kind of play around, but he's got like a OCD, like a really obsessive compulsive disorder about stuff or anxiety. Like he's got to have things a certain way. And it seems, and he even mentions it, it seems like his stuff has been heightened a bit more since he's had his powers. So that's just something that he's, I guess, dealing with, trying to figure out. So even when she kind of put some food on him, so that he's going to like wash his face or whatever, but he's a plan of playing back with her. So they have a moment where they're playing around for a bit, and we find out about Moon's powers, and she has teleportation. She's able to teleport through portals and whatever to get an attack, and she's got a little blaster that kind of helps her with that. Um, is fairly simple, but now her powers seem to always teleport her. Like they're very specifically designed now to teleport her to him. So wherever Nice is, she will be teleported to Nice. Like there is no, I guess, any which way about it. So it's like, all right, well, if that's the way her powers are geared, and can she change that at all, or is that just something that's default now? It seems like, because if she's trying to get away from Nice stuff and she's constantly pulled to him, and I think it has to do maybe like little power wristbands that are there, like she's pulled to that energy signal, and that's where she goes. Because when it wasn't like the other Nice, she's not being pulled to him. I mean, he's gone, so she's not gonna get pulled to him at any point in time. So there's got to be something to do with that. That's just kind of my, what I'm surmising so far. But they've been on lockdown apparently for a month, and she's just like, yo, I'm trying to go. I'll end it. She ends up getting a rope and everything. And Nice does something, Ling. He's like, let me do something for you, and he ends up turning it into a swing. because they got a statue of him kind of holding his hand out. So that's where the rope is on, and he makes her a swing and even brings her a cushion, and they kind of have a moment for a minute, and they're going, and everything's good for a hot second. They've been there for 30 days, and that's Jay's whole plan. Miss J wants to make sure that they start to feel something for each other. So being on lockdown, they have no choice but to bond with the other person that's there, and that's what she's doing. She is setting this up. Um, Now, at the beginning of this episode, which I didn't mention, there was somebody sitting there just having a drink, looked like drinking a soda, and he looked kind of dejected with that. Don't know who the guy was, but that comes up later on as we kind of figure out. We end up having her set up and agree to the proposal. Miss J plans the proposal and sets up a whole like public thing where they are going to have a proposal in public in front of news cameras and everything again, because you got to keep this trust and this popularity and all this kind of stuff up. What ends up happening is Rec ends up attacking the wedding, and this entire time he's like the arch nemesis of Nice, and he's fighting, and we find out that Rec is that guy that we saw earlier having the drink. Again, he is bent on taking him out. And as we go through and find this out, we find out that Jay has set up a script for this. And this is where things get kind of crazy. With Jay having a script set up for this, Rec needs to follow the script specifically to get things done in the manner in which she wants. If he does not, then we have issues. His attacks are going off the rails. He's not doing exactly what he's supposed to do. Apparently, this was planned. Rec gets dispatched into taking out Nice whenever there's like a situation or occurrence that needs to happen, and Nice is designed to take him out. We come to find out that this entire thing was set up for Nice to go through the process, have Moon fake her death so she can more or less get out the contract, and Nice can play the angle of having lost his love, and this is going to be a big thing for him to help build up his popularity, his whole persona. And Rec is in on it, but Rec is genuinely upset, and that's why he's going off script, because we find out that Rec was training partners with the original Nice, and that's why he knows when he got punched by Nice, he's like, "You're not the same guy. My Nice hit me a different way," and I was just like, "Really? Like you?" He is, because that's the only way that they would ever really see each other. So that like they kind of grew up together, like they were friends, and as they came up, they ended up getting scripts differently. So one's going to play the hero, one's play the villain. But now they don't really have. They used to, I guess, talk, text, or whatever. But now they don't really have contact with each other anymore. And because they started losing contact with each other, and I thought it first happened just because Nice had moved on, to the after walking off the building, that's why. But apparently beforehand, he was kind of getting sidelined. Like Rec was getting sidelined from having any contact with Nice. He's like, "Hey, can I fight him next week? Can we kind of have a thing?" Is like, "No, like we got other stuff going on. You can't." So Rec was constantly getting pushed off. So, and I guess maybe because they consider Rec a lower tier villain or not really doing as much as he need to do, they need him to do more stuff. So either way, Rec was upset about that, and basically throughout this whole thing, they find out that he finds out that the original Nice has passed on. He does not take that. He ends up kind of falling to his end, so to speak, when all this is said and done, and we see that Moon is injured, and Nice has to fly back with her being injured, and this is where she's done. Like, and this how it works out. She's ready. She's like, "This is a blood pack," and they play the whole thing up. She gets written out, and it's just down to Nice. It's like, all right, cool. Well, the plan has now succeeded, even though Rec went off the rails, and we're able to kind of get this whole thing done. Let's put, you know, A plus B equals C and set it up. So with that being said, and Lighter figures out that Nice is actually Lin Ling off to the side. Like he's sitting there doing stuff and he's putting everything together, and he ends up overlapping the faces. And it's like, that's what it is. Because guess what? With Nice being in the media as much as he is, in that one thing, because and that's the thing. I did say that Jay showed Lin Ling's article earlier and says only one person has seen it. Like no one cares about Lin Ling. So that and Lighter is that one person. I just put that together, you know, now. And Lighter is that one person that's seen the article. So with that, so he's able to put two and two together and realize that that is the new Nice, and that's why he was able to answer the questions or whatever. But he ends up getting this octopus that was in like his tank behind him ends up being part of the Spotlight organization, offering Lighter a fear option to be instead of being a hero. Like you can be here's a fear option and stuff, so for you to get what you're after or whatever. So and Lighter ends up becoming something called God's Eye, and now and Lighter, who is now God's Eye, is going to go after Nice with fear as opposed to his truth questions and stuff like that. So now this is how we're set up. So I'm like, this show is good. It's got me hooked in. I want to know where this is going. We see Moon. She's going off to a beach. She opens her portals, and she's able to open her portal to a beach, and she's able to walk in and go to a beach. So that kind of answered my question. Like, okay, can she make her portals go anywhere, or is stuff specific to him? She's able to walk off into a beach, and she doesn't even really say. She kind of says bye and leaves real quickly, and she's on the beach chilling, enjoying herself. She's done with this life, and it's just down to Nice. And now Nice's whole thing here is to get the trust of the world again, and just like, this is just me now. I got to figure this out by myself, and that's where he's going. So yeah, I'm with it. I'm here for it. This has been really, really good so far. I want to keep it up. So by all means, hit that little subscribe button. I'm gonna keep talking about this stuff. The next episode should be really good, and again, we should get more insight onto what these characters are going to do at this point going forward. So that's all I got. I'll catch you guys in the next one.